Dude, in the now, it's all about self-promotion. Look, we all used to be like, oh, I don't want to just talk about myself. That sounds, I want to be that guy. But then you have to do it.
Right? I know it's so
It's
competitive, and it's like I just made that trailer, which I used your soundbite in there a couple times, and I felt so douchey doing that because I'm like, this is so not me. I don't like to like show off or brag or whatever, but I was like, I have to like stand up for myself. I have to show people I am good at interviewing. I have to like tell myself that too. Like, hey, this is something I'm good at. I suck at a lot of things. Don't get me wrong. I'm terrible at most things, but I'm okay at like podcasting. I feel like I'm kind of decent. So I need to like, but I just have to convince the world of that.
No, this is your jam. I told you, this is your jam. I really feel like I've known you forever. It's trippy. It's
Yeah.
trippy.
It's the same
I
thing
might,
for you with the band. I mean, you're trying to, it's yeah, making music is a big part of it, of course, but then it's like convincing the world that the music is good and convincing them to listen to it and convincing people to give it a try.
yeah, man, getting bodies in the room is really, it's a Herculean task for a band like this because we're coming out of nowhere at some point. It's like, well, why should we go see Spread Eagle? Like, why? You know what I mean? We can go see Metallica. We pay $1,000 or whatever. You know what I mean? Why should we go see Spread Eagle? It's you grind and grind. We've hit places like twice now, and when we go back the second time, there's more bodies and there's more energy. You know what I mean? It's a lot of work. You really got to go. You got to go as grassroots as you can. You got to play places no one else wants to play or heard about. Sometimes,
Yeah.
it's a
What
lot of work,
about,
man.
yeah, no, I was just going to say, like, what about like using that, the strategy that they used to use in TV. I remember like Thursday night must see TV, and it was like Friends and Seinfeld, and then they'd always put like the new show in between those two shows. So like you kind of had to watch it. Like, what if you get on a tour with other bands, and then it's like people they're going to see the other band maybe, and then they're gonna stick around, they're gonna get there early and then see you guys, and then you make a fan out of them that way.
Yeah, yeah, man. That's how it's been working for us, especially when we went over to Europe. That was like a lot of people had been waiting for us to come over, and it's always that getting that new fan. But that's always that, and it's always the young kids. When we get the kids, that blows my mind. That's what I like. When you see those two kids sitting in the corner, and then they come over in front of you, and they're just like, "This, what the fuck is this? Who are you guys?"
Oh, so
And
how did that work? Were you guys, because you guys were headlining in Europe, but then you just had people that, was it like free show or something, or how did people just show up?
no, I mean, they do the promotion over there. We did what they call I think we grassroots it there. We played there was some place in the UK called the Patriot. I'd never heard of it before, but they did a lot of great promo there. And we were with a band called Circus. Oh my God, they're gonna kill me.
Circus of Power?
No, no.
That'd be cool.
Whatever. This awesome band we played with. Uh, they had we chose bands to open that had great followings, that also were hungry for
Uh,
gigs. So
yeah.
The Star Circus
Okay.
is a great band, really really cool people, and they made it comfortable for us, and also let us, they backlined us quite a few times, which is pretty cool. But
Yeah.
it's trippy to go somewhere and you think there's going to be nobody in the room. I mean, you go to do sound check, there's no one around. The gig comes, it's about 10ish, and you step in shit. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It was a surprise every night. I'm the kind of person I don't expect anyone to be there. It's a
It's
terrible
tough.
thing,
I
man.
mean, like my buddies in the band of Limbo. It's kind of a newer band, and they toured with Faster Pussycat and a guy named Jason Charles, who I wasn't familiar with, but now I know who he is. And it was like a 3 band package. But even still, I'm like, it's tough. They're playing like the Marquee here in Phoenix. So it's a big venue. And it was on like a Tuesday. And I was like, I hope some people show up. And it was a pretty good turnout. And so I think the package deals are going to be the best bet, I think, for bands that are, unless you're Metallica or something, then you can sell out obviously an arena. But I think it's better to team up, and like you guys are doing the Monsters of Rock cruise, like that's perfect too, because people are going to stick around. Oh, I'll check them out. And then I think you make fans that way.
Yeah, I think that changes the optics of things. If we can do well, if we have good gigs on the Monsters of Rock cruise, I think people will see us in a different light. They'll be like, "Oh, you know what, Spread? They're actually good. They're good. Right? Ray still got his chops.
Yeah. Have you done that one
So
before? Or is this the first time you're going to be doing it?
I've never done it. I know Rob's
Oh,
done it
okay.
with his other bands, you know. I think
Ah,
with Bach or UFO, whatever. I've never done the Monsters of Rock cruise.
oh,
I've never been on a ship.
me
And I,
either.
dude, and I watch YouTube, big ships and big waves way too much, so it fucks with my head, you know. And
Yeah.
um, everybody says it's going to be great. You don't even feel it moving, you know.
Yeah,
I'm like,
because those ships are
but for
so
me,
big. I feel
but
like it's
yeah, but for me, I know we're on the water. You know, I figure, I mean, I'll wear my life jacket 24/7. I'll wear it to bed. You know, I'll probably wear
no
it on
way.
stage.
Seriously?
I'll make it new stage, get like a life jacket with like put some studs on it or something. Oh yeah,
That
man.
that is
I'm
funny.
not
Or you can also take the Dramamine if you get seasick.
I'm pretty good about that. I'm pretty good about that. With me, it's just it's new. It's new. It's the unknown. I don't know what I'm getting into. They tell me how cool it is, you know. But because we've never played it before, my brain is just like I want to have fun and enjoy it, but I know I want to knock that first set out. You know what I mean? Wish I could
Mhm.
just be like, yeah, man, it's no big deal, Chuck. I'm gonna go out there, but it's like I want to nail it. You know what I mean? I want to
Yeah.
make it so that these gigs count because we worked really hard. You know,
Yes.
going back to Europe real quick. When we did London, that was a great big payoff because it was called the Black Heart. It was packed. It was awesome. Little place, but it was packed. So I know that we'll have people on the boat. We just have to just be on point.
Yeah. So how because you have all these shows in January and February before you hit the Monsters of Rock cruise. So is that kind of the warm up, or is there a special rehearsal you're going to do for the Monsters of Rock cruise as well?
No, the gigs are the warm up. We'll
Okay.
do like two. We always do like maybe two rehearsals before we go out. If we had just played like 2 weeks ago, we probably wouldn't rehearse.
Hmm.
But if it's like, you know, like a month off, maybe almost a month, almost like 6 weeks. So we got to like get in there and fire up a little bit because you got to get kind of like, you want to feel comfortable. You know, I don't want
Yeah.
to feel like a fish out of
Sure.
water. So it only takes a few minutes to sort to get to be in your own skin. But you know what I mean? You got to really like get in there and nail it.
Yeah. I just had the drummer from David Lee Roth band on it. And this is to me, even for that level, I know, David Lee Roth, big rock star, but he said they rehearsed for 6 months for the Vegas shows that ended up being canceled. But I was like, 6 months. I mean, that seems like a lot, even for any band. I mean, that's like so much rehearsal. I'm really curious. What I wish I could have seen those shows because that sounds if 6 months of rehearsal, there must have been a lot of like stage moves and things and pyros and
Right.
all sorts of stuff, right?
I would think so because a cat like that, you know, he's very experienced at doing a great show. I mean, when you saw the Van Halen shows, they were kind of like, you know, they would move and sync in certain places, and that thing where they all bounce to the front of the stage. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, I like to work out segues. You got to work out all that stuff. I wish we could just get up and wing stuff, but you want to make it count. You know, you want to have cool. You still want to have jams and keep things. I like things to feel loose. You know, we don't run tracks, and that's a big part of it too. That keeps you loose. You're not like regimented into counting. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. Well, you play. I mean,
So
I know that was short lived, but you those gigs that you did with George Lynch, because everyone talks about how he is like so loose, and it's just like he'll get into these jam things for like a long time and just go off and just jam. And I guess as the singer, did you just like leave when he would do that? Because that's like more like just him playing guitar, right?
I think you just walk to the side of the stage and let the guy do his thing. You know, it's always like even in spread. You know, when the guys we have some sections that are long musical sections. It's like, do I just stand out there? You know what I mean? I don't have a guitar in my hand. You know what I mean? So you got to like plan out where you're going to be. I do like to
Yeah.
take a walk. I like to
I like
leave the
that when the
stage.
singer, if the singer isn't doing anything, I'm okay with them going backstage, getting some water because it's always awkward when they're just kind of standing there and like clapping or something. I'm like, this is like a little weird, you know?
Yeah, and it's natural. Like there's people that tell me you should stay out there and work a tambourine. I said I like to showcase the guys.
Yeah.
It's what the you know it might dude. What I hate is air guitar. I fucking hate that shit.
Yeah.
When guys do that, always crack me up. It just wasn't for me. But yeah, man, that's funny you said that because I there's 3 or 4 times in our set where I just walk off because they're in some great long musical piece and I don't have to be there. You know, and you come back on and kind of like changes dynamic. It's oh there he is again. You know, where's Waldo? He's right there.
Yeah. And that's perfect. So, I mean, spread that you got those shows coming up, but tell my audience about because I don't think we talked about this too much last time, but Superfly, I've heard the 2 songs that you've put out and they're great. It's like this kind of what would you call it, like a 90s, early 2000s style kind of rock, kind of alternative industrial.
Yeah, it's you know yeah it's got a it's emotionally intense. It's kind of hip with urban groove. You know what I mean? it's dark, it's melodic, it's very natural place for me to sing too. When we first did the spread stuff, my voice is very up and rangy and affected. This is very natural singing, almost like how Subway to the Stars is as an album, but the Superfly stuff is it's just cool as can be, man. This stuff is like my calling card. It's very personal, and the guys in Deco Entertainment are helping me to get the stuff out there. So I'm really excited about that. I got a great crew around me. It's a great band. There's great management. It's a lot of talent involved. I'm lucky that I've sat on these songs for a long time. So it's like for me to get this stuff out there, to have you hear it, and like it, that's huge for me. I'll take it as far as it'll go. So the Superfly is coming out. It's going to come out March 9th, I believe. We're actually doing a record release party down in Fort Lauderdale for it. So because I'm living in Florida now too, and there's a great music scene down here still.
That's
But
awesome.
Superfly is my jam. It's my jam.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's a perfect. I was gonna make sure I add that it was, even though it's kind of that alternative style, it's melodic. So I think Spread fans will enjoy it because it sounds more modern, but it's still got that melodic feel, which think is reminiscent of the '80s rock stuff. Well, that's what I loved about the '80s rock, is that it was so melodic and catchy, and this stuff is like that too. Obviously, the one song "I'm Your Boogeyman" that's a cover of Casey and the Sunshine Band, but it sounds so dramatically different. And then who is that doing the guitar solo on that one? Because that's a killer guitar solo.
That's my writing partner, Miguel Gonzalez.
Oh,
Miguel
that's
is
Miguel. Okay, so he's
like
not
he's
only the bassist and producer; he's the guitar player too.
Yeah, man. He's basically he tracked just about everything. It's like one of those situations where he's like a virtuoso, if you ask me. He's a great producer, and
Oh,
he's a great untapped talent as far as that goes. He should be making millions. But you know, he's really, really talented, and I'm lucky that he lets me hang out with him. You know what I mean? Um, I'll say something in conversation, and if we're just talking about the idea of a track, and he'll send me what was in my head. He'll send what was in my head. It's crazy, but man, it's been the easiest writing I've ever had to do. It's just everything just flows and it comes. I sound so generic. It feels good. This
yeah.
music feels good, and if I told you how excited I was, I would sound like the corniest person in the world. But it really is great to get this music out.
So is this just you and Miguel? Does he do the drums then too?
No, we had some people. We had a drummer track some drums for us. But
Oh,
there's also a lot of like you can program some shit now.
oh,
The
okay,
way things work. So um, I believe his cousin Damien did some tracks for us.
okay.
We had a few people that came in, but there is a band that's solid. It's a four-piece right now: guitar, bass, drum, myself, vocal. We might add a guitar. I'm not sure yet
So who
because I
can you
think,
say who's in the band, the official band, the live band?
yeah. So Miguel Gonzalez is going to come in as bass. Steve Rose, really good friend of mine, is going to track. Is going to play. Is the guitar player in the band. Phil, I forget Phil's last name. He's going to kill me. I owe you. I'll send you the name. Phil, I'm sorry, man, but the drummer's a great cat. But they're all local down here,
Okay.
and we putting rehearsals together, and we're putting it together while I'm doing all the Spread stuff, which is making me crazy.
Hmm.
It's making me crazy. But while Spread is touring, if I'm back during the week, I'll probably just rehearse in the middle of the week because I don't want to suck.
Yeah. So you're doing that. So you're kind of juggling it. So yeah, it's coming out. I think I have March 8th. You said March 9th, but it's a Deco Entertainment. Explain what this is. This is a part of Warner Brothers or Warner Music
Uh,
Group.
yeah, that's a distributor. Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted some guys that had a great rep, and Bruce and Charlie, who run Deco, are just they believe in the songs. They had a million things they were doing, but for them to take the time and do this and be part of it and really like have a say in things and really want to have a say and believe in something. So it's not just me anymore. It's a great label. Our manager is a believer. She's also part of our art department. She's great with creative, and she's like part of the band. You know, I can't tell you, man, how it's just special. It's special. I hope that people dig it as much as I do because I'll live and die by this record. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, so it features revisited and remastered versions of tracks that are previously recorded as well as the new composition. So how you said you've been sitting on some of these songs for a while. How old are some of these songs?
Like 9, 10 years old.
Okay.
So what we did is that we had tunes sitting around, and I was like, I don't want to let these songs go to waste. How, what do we do, man? So through a friend of ours, quick story. A friend of mine does licensing for gaming, movies, things like that. And he was like, "What are you guys doing with those songs? I really love those songs. Have you worked on some more stuff?" So me and Miguel were like, "Let's remix this stuff. Let's really give this stuff some care." It was a demo, you know, and now it doesn't sound like a demo anymore. You know what I mean? Things are remixed. It's mixed nice. I resang a lot of stuff. Um, it sounds like a brand new, it's a makeover on all the old songs. So it's a really they never got a chance to see the light of day. So it's fresh material. That's how I look at it. You know,
Okay. Gotcha. Is there another artist named Superfly? How does that work? I thought I saw
dude,
another one on
with
Spotify.
that name, I'm sure someone's got to be a Superfly somewhere. It's one of those names, man, because I've always wanted to have that band name.
Yeah.
And I know there's like a Superfly in Japan,
Uh,
but it's I looked at me, you can look it up, but I was like,
no one's tried to sue you yet or anything.
no, I mean, that only happens if it breaks in a big way. You know
Mm.
what I mean? I don't see some kid in Russia. I think there's a Russian Superfly too,
Oh,
but
okay.
we're the American Superfly. How's that?
All right. Gotcha. So that's
Oh,
cool. So
bro,
what is the next single dropping? You said, I think you said that the next one is kind of the big song.
as far as like rock, because we put out Hypothermia, which is a bit on the mellower side, but which is my favorite piece of music. Drowning Man has got that big groove. I'll send it to you when I'm done. It's got the big groove. We're making videos. We're gonna make a video for the song Hypothermia. We've actually already made, we got the footage. We're just getting it edited and put together, and we're gonna make a video for Drowning Man as well. I think in the now, man, you know that you got to have a lot of content. You got to make videos, and that's one thing I really haven't done. Spread hasn't had a chance to make a video for that album. We did Sound of Speed, but we need to make more videos. So for Superfly, we're gonna concentrate on making videos and making content and doing what you and I talked about in the beginning, shamelessly going out there and plugging.
Yeah. Well, then
You know what?
what'd you say about the licensing? You're going to try to get it licensed for TV or video games or something?
Well, because our friend Tony Fortuna was the catalyst for even us jumping on these songs again. So I would like to have them as much as they could land in a movie or on a gaming platform. That'd be great.
Did
Because
you have,
nowadays,
yeah.
no, no, nowadays you need that. You need to have that some sort of like vehicle that carries your tune.
Right. Because didn't you guys have a song in Spread Eagle? High Horses was on a soundtrack with Deborah Winger, The Dangerous Woman or something. Did you have other songs that were on soundtracks?
I think Scratch Like a Cat was on a TV show.
Hmm.
But High Horses, I remember I remember because we got a check for that. One day I was at the management's office. I was, Ray, I got a check for it. I'm like, what? I'm like, whoo, whoo, whoo. I want to do more of that.
Yeah. So that again, that's especially nowadays, that's got to be one of the most lucrative ways to make money from recordings because obviously you're not getting a lot from Spotify and album sales anymore.
No, man. No, no. The way we're making money is we have to tour and play live.
And
But
sell t-shirts, right? Sell merch.
that's it. That's it. You're supporting the band that way. But as far as, man, if you can get a song in a movie, that's cake. That's like, it used to be it wasn't cool to go commercial. But screw being commercial, man. And now everybody just wants that moment, whether it's a TV show, whether it's a movie, whether it's whatever, just something that carries your tune outside of your house. You know, it's a new game, as you know. It's like there's a million ways to do this every day. It's some new millionth way to do it every day. So whether it's Superfly, I think with Superfly, with the kind of music that it is, and the writing team behind it, and the people that are with, I just think it has a good chance. I think it's good music, man. There's so much stuff out there that just sounds the same. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Music is either like cookie cutter or Cookie Monster sounding ish, or it just sounds like a lot of cats that were in the 80s and 90s are making, especially the 80s, are just sort of rehashing their sound. You got a lot of older dudes that shouldn't be wearing some of the leather jackets they do, and they should evolve a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Well,
that
it's
that
interesting. Yeah. Cause I don't know if you remember the band Rocks Gang. They're actually from Florida, but I had the singer, Kevin Steele, and like he's basically disbanded that band and he's doing his other thing now. And he just won't Dude, and I never got to see Rocks Gang, and he's like, I'm done. I'm never doing another show. He's like, nobody wants to see that. I'm like, I'd like to see it. I mean, but yeah, I think you could evolve and still do the same band. Like you could play the old songs and then evolve and play new stuff, and you don't have to wear the same outfit that you wore in 1989 either.
Yeah, you got to trust your audience. If your audience is cool and they're with you, they'll evolve with you. And
Yeah.
I use Spread Eagle as an example because "Subway to the Stars" sounds nothing like the first record. It's got a lot of the sass and attitude, but I'm not singing like that. And it's a more mature style of writing, and it works. It worked for us. It worked. It worked if we did it 30 years later. Maybe that's what it is. But some cats, they do it one way, and that's it. They don't want to ever do that again. They just won't touch it. They feel like it's a failure. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, with Spread, I didn't want to touch it for a long time either. I was like, man, I did that once like that. I don't know if I can do that again. I don't know if I want to do that again.
Is it
Especially
hard to
how
sing those songs from the 80s, like those notes and stuff? Is that tough?
oh hell yeah, man. What I do is I just make bullet points. Like I think there's stuff in a song that people will be like, he didn't do it. You know what I mean? And for the longest time, I did not do it. I ever since our little episode we talked, what happened with the Lynch thing. That was a huge wake up call for me because there are people, and I learned this in Europe, people that want to hear these songs sung and played a certain way. So I have to do my best to honor that shit. You know what I mean? So I just got to be the best Ray West I can with what I got. So I reworked my chops. I'm really working hard on like my higher raspy end, which I didn't use for a long time. So, and
Can you just play it down an octave too? Isn't that what's for some of the songs? You sing it an octave lower or something?
yeah, live, everybody tunes down live. Everybody tunes at least a half a step because you just can't be on 11 the whole fucking time. You won't survive, unless I don't know. I'm not sure the Greta Van Fleet kid. That
Yeah.
guy can sing he can sing anything. But at some point, you're going to have to pace it. There's pacing involved. I'm not the same animal I was years ago. But man, when I get on stage, sometimes I feel like I'm the same animal I was years ago. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm just fooling myself. But it's been great, man. It's been great relearning the songs, kind of getting my swagger back on the Spread Eagle stuff to give me the swagger and the balls to do Superfly. You know what I'm saying? So, and man, like I said, the past year and a half, I busted my ass. I got great friends like you, that honestly like what I do. I don't think you're BSing me. uh, I feel good. I feel good where I'm at, man. I feel if I get the Superfly stuff out, I can do anything. I really feel like that, bro.
Yeah. So is there a plan to actually tour with Superfly or at least do some live shows locally or?
Yeah, I mean, we're doing the record release party, so there is a band together. I don't want to have that go to waste. So hopefully we'll do some whatever the music, or whatever it takes me this rest of this year is what I'm going to make happen. And whether it's a crazy schedule or not, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to do whatever I can to make this music happen.
Yeah. What are some bands that you think Superfly would be good to package with?
Oh man, there's so many. Um, I wouldn't mind if like Stella gave us a call to go out on the road. That'd be great.
Who?
Godsmack. I love all that kind
Oh
of stuff,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
That I'd like to go out with a band like that. Um, you know, I think all those the new school bands that are melodic, we could go out with. I think maybe Deftones, that'd be a dream come true, something like that. But I'll play it in front of everybody. I'll go tour with Stephen Piercy's Rat if he wants a gig. You know what I mean? I'll whatever stage I can get to. I don't think I really have a choice. I just got to go where it takes me. I hope that
Is
doesn't
it?
sound too like.
Yeah. No, but is it you like personally, or are you going to be reaching out? Because like if I was you, or either you or the manager or whoever's job it is, I would just like I would ask like I would start with Godsmack and then just go down the list until you get somebody that will say yes.
That's right. You shoot for as cast the longest line as you can, and then you bring it back when whatever you catch, you catch. Our
Yeah.
our manager, Adrian Biondo, is a bad motherfucker. Sorry to cursing so much, but she's got the gift of like. I truly believe that she'll be able to go and find something. You know what I mean? I have so much faith in her, and she has great drive. Like I said, it's not just me thinking I think I can, I think I can. There's other people around me trying to make this happen. So it takes a village to make a band. Cool. It takes the right people. It takes everybody, going moving forward together and 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 pushing each other. So that's I don't, the way I look at this, bro, I don't got much time left on this planet. I'm making the most of it. You know what I mean? So I really want to be as groovenly, loud, and Superfly as I possibly can with this stuff.
Like, how many shows would you want to do in a year? You could, at the end in December 31st, you could look back and go, wow, that was a good year. I did however many shows
Oh, I'd like to get 100 plus shows this year. That'd be good. That'd be a good year for me. You
of
know, that
Superfly and Spread Eagle, or like
that
total.
if I could do a buck and a buck, I'll do. If I could go out 300 days a year, I would. But my
Yeah.
girl will kill me.
Oh,
Look, man, this thing is like I'm at that point in my life where I don't something drives me in the morning to do this stuff. It's so easy to just kick back and do nothing and watch football and call it a day, you know? But you got your podcast, you're out because you're driven to communicate and connect with people, you know? And so am I. But through this music, and of all the vehicles I've used, whether it was like going after castings for shows or movies or commercials, whatever, this music thing seems to be a natural thing for me, of the easiest way for me to communicate. I just feel like there's an audience out there for what I do, and I'm just like still trying to get in there, claw my way to them, so I can get to them all the time, not have to fight so hard. But I'll do what we got to do. I'm excited about this stuff, man. It drives
yeah.
me. It keeps me going. This is my purpose.
Right. That's exactly how I feel with the podcast. It's like the same thing. It's like, yeah, I feel like we're getting older, but it's like at the same time, if you have that drive, there's a reason you have that. It's like you feel like that's your purpose. You feel like you want to prove it to people and convince people and grab people and go to the top of the mountain and shout it and try to explain to people how, this is what I need to do. I need to do this for some reason.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, there's a lot of cats that say they want to do a podcast, but they don't do it. And then if they do it, they don't do it as well as you do. Some guys just have a gift for this stuff. A lot of guys are couch musicians. They'll talk about being in a band and what a band should do, but they're not out there doing it.
Right.
It's easy to just sit back on your laptop and make a comment on how things should be, but you got to be a part of it. So that's how I feel.
Yeah. Well, I
I
think
still
it's
feel
like,
like I could do that.
yeah, you have to think about why. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, there's a lot of people that they start a band, they think, oh, this will be easy and I'm going to get rich, I'm going to be a rock star. Same thing with a podcast. Oh, I'm just going to start a podcast. All I have to do is sit there and talk, and I'm going to be
Mhm.
the next Joe Rogan. And it's like, it's a lot of work. You got to really love podcasting, or you got to really love music, and you got to want to put in the time because you feel like it's worth it at the end. And hopefully, and it sounds like for you and me right now, it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's all the details. It's the travel, the getting on the plane, going through security checks, you know, dealing with the stewardess, you know what I mean? Getting off the plane, having no sleep, uh, eating somewhat healthy. You can survive, but there's all the things that make it so you don't want to do it, but you got to do it.
Yeah. So
You
how
know?
do you deal with that now? Because I think before you'd said that the downtime was the killer for you, because that's what got you to turn to drugs. And then that you went down that whole dark path. Now you're off the drugs. So how do you deal with the downtime?
Oh man, I just don't have any downtime. I'm always doing something. I'm always doing something now. So I think now, like I said, I'm at a place where I can not. I deal with the stress better. I deal with the anxiety better. I deal with the rush better. And the whole like I always feeling like you have to be somewhere. That feeling when you can't sit still. It's taken me years to shake that, man. I still deal with it, but I battle it better than I used to. You know.
Do you get stressed out when you have to fly on a plane? Because it's not that I feel like I'm afraid of flying, like I feel like we're gonna crash. I just hate going to airports and then having to sit in an airplane and be all crowded, and like the stress of going through security and just having like no control drives me nuts. Do you get some of that ever?
Oh my God, yeah. Listen, here's the whole thing. Airports, man, number one. Why is every airport bathroom not built with ventilation?
Yeah.
Disgusting. But the idea, like sometimes, thank God for edibles, when I fly. But when I'm on a plane, it'll hit me once in a while that I'm in a tube, strapped in, you know, and I'm in the middle chair sometimes, and it's not a good place to be. Not then I'll get kind of weird. But look, man, that gets on you. But I'm learning to sleep better on planes. You know what I mean?
So wait,
Do
you do the edibles too?
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, I like the indica. Okay,
Okay.
I like a nice sedative indica. But
Yeah.
also this here, and the other thing about flying that cracks me up is when you land, the people that jump up right away and have to be in the aisle for 20 minutes, that never stops, man. It's like it amazes me every flight. it's like full of assholes that have to get out the door right away, but they make them wait
Yeah.
20 minutes. I
Well,
always
they
say,
like
yeah.
cut in front of you too. Like those people
Oh
that
yeah.
stand up and I'll be like sitting and I'm like, hey, like it's the next row. This is my row's turn, but the guy behind me will just shove his way through. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Just
what the
got your suitcase by your head.
it's
Yeah,
like, all
man.
right, what like it doesn't matter to me. I'll spend another 5 minutes on the plane. But yeah, it's just like at that point, I'm like, it's close enough that you're almost there. It's just, yeah, whatever, who cares? But yeah, it's getting
Yeah,
through that,
man.
that first part security. And then just like halfway through I feel like it's usually about halfway through the plane ride. I'm like, oh, I can't sit anymore. This is like annoying.
Yeah, there's no place. And so you become like a good flyer. You get your right playlist, you get your, audiobooks, your playlist, you get a writing pad for when you get antsy. You know what I mean? I do a lot of writing
Yeah.
on planes.
It sounds like
But
you guys do more touring in the van. Like even when you flew to Europe and then did you tour in a van from there or a train or how did you do it once you got to Europe?
it was planes, trains, and automobiles.
Oh, all three. Okay.
Really, all three, all three. If the gig is like within 4 hours, we'll drive. You know what I mean? So Scotland, we had to get up in East Germany. I don't know where we were. We flew to Edinburgh. Well, no, East Germany. Wake up at 6 in the morning, catch a plane in Brussels, change at Frankfurt, land in Edinburgh, Scotland, rent a car, drive to the gig, 5 minute sound check, play. There was a day like that. Like that happens. So I don't remember the car. I don't remember the plane. I don't remember anything from that day. Just the traveling it was nonstop, man. But you get good at it. It's teamwork, man. One guy does this, one guy's in charge of that, one guy's in charge of that. You just work on it, you know?
Well, then how do you make a trek like that profitable? Because I know like even Anthrax, they're one of the top four. They are the top four thrash band of all time. They had to cancel the European tour because of the rising costs of gasoline and all that stuff. Like it's hard to make a tour like that profitable.
Yeah, man. A lot of that has to do with Robbie. Robbie's really good at coordinating. So
I mean,
I'm
do you
gonna
guys have any tricks? Like, do you just all share like one hotel room and just cram in like two people per bed and do a couple of double beds or something?
if we have to, we've been doing Airbnbs,
Okay. Oh, okay.
which changes everything, man. Everybody can get a room, be out of each other's face. It's pretty cool, you learn to look for bargain basement deals, in 6 months in advance. You know what I mean? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I had no idea what Rob does for Spread Eagle as far as coordinating and being a liaison with a lot of stuff
Oh, he
is
does
mind
all
blowing.
that, huh?
He's a big part of it. Robbie is a big
Okay.
part of that. If it
Yeah.
wasn't for Rob, is the reason Spread Eagle goes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He's
That's
the
that's
reason.
interesting. I used to be a guidance counselor. That was my day job for a long time, and they always for some reason they put us in charge of the schedules for kids, and they're like I remember one of the other counselors like it's like a big puzzle. I'm like this is not fun. I hate this shit. And so
Yeah,
that's
man.
what a tour manager sounds like, a similar kind of nightmare where you're trying to juggle and figure out how this goes here and you're going to go there. I mean, just whew, I do not envy him for doing that.
Yeah, so someone has to be dad and coordinate. And then as we've been doing as we graduated into this, everybody takes a part in helping more. You know what I mean? Now Ricky does a lot of stuff. It goes everybody does their part, but it's relentless. You got to really have a lot of intestinal fortitude to do this stuff, man. You got to really want to be out there.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing that, and then both you and Rob both want to do it. And then you found this young guitar kid and Rob's brother Rick is the drummer now. So, right?
Cousin, yeah, cousin.
Cousin. Oh, his cousin. Okay.
Johnny, we did this audition thing for guitar players, and I, Johnny has a very heavy Italian accent, but he's Italian in the sense he's just really reserved and cool. He's just style without having to be like affected about it. You know what I mean? Like he dresses the way he does. He just has a swagger that he does without having to be that. Like nothing is done as an affected thing. He's just Johnny. Just cool, reserved, easy to deal with. And the reason we work is because we all know each other pretty well now. So we're easy. We travel well. We know when someone's going to be pissed off. We know when to lay off them. You know what I mean? I like to bust everybody's balls all the time, but that's that's because I'm an asshole. But you learn how the politics of being in a band, like ours. You just learn to get along, man. Yeah, and we look out for each other. that's rare in a band. I really care about these dudes. To where like we all just look out for each other. But and you learn to travel well. You learn to travel on a budget. We're not out there drinking champagne. We're out there like just hustling, getting to the gig. All that matters is just get to the gig
Does it
alive if
help
possible.
too to uh do the meet and greet stuff? So I'm assuming that that part's free where you come out and take pictures and sign stuff and everything, because that helps promote the band. If they take a selfie with you, then they post it on their social media. They're advertising your band for free.
If anybody takes the time to come up to you and be gracious about the thing that you do and connect with you on that, how are you going to be? You can't stiff them. That's part of it. And that's a big part of it now, man. All meet and greets with us are free. I think making people pay to meet you and say hello is ridiculous.
Unless you're
Ridiculous.
Kiss, I mean, and then I feel
Oh,
like it's just like you almost have
but
to charge if you're that level. Like
yeah,
otherwise,
but
it's just gonna you're gonna be doing the meet and greet longer than the show.
but that's a corporate machine. That's a whole different level of the game. That's like, they we'll just get these guys that look like these guys and we're good. You know what I mean? We're good. It's Kiss. Kiss became something bigger. Now I hear they're going to do some sort of like some hologram thing or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's like, see, I'm glad we're talking about this because when I was a kid, Kiss was my end all be all. Kiss was it. I saw them on the Kiss Alive tour. Ace, Gene, Paul. I saw that, and that was good enough for me. Like years later, I didn't go to see when they took off the makeup and all that stuff. I was happy that I saw them in their prime. But I'm like that, you know. I'm like the original guy. I don't want to see the tribute. I'd rather see the band. People can say that about us too. But it's Kiss, man. You know, of course, Gene's all about making money because he tells you that. So it's honest. You know. But
Yeah.
meet and greet, hey, how you doing? Oh, I can't say hello to you till you talk to that guy you pay him. That's weird. That's weird for me.
Right. Yeah. That would
It's
be awkward.
weird.
Yeah. Because there are bands that are, at a similar level of Spread Eagle, and they'll charge for meet and greets. I mean, I know it's tough too, just being a band and trying to, like I said, trying to make a profitable tour. So sometimes you got to do some of that kind of stuff too. I don't know. I've never been in a band, but it's like bands got to get creative. I think merch too is if you can't sell a record or CD, like sell something cool that sells the CD. Like I saw this thing today. It was so cool. I don't know if you're like a horror movie fan, but it was all the Halloween movies on like DVD
Yeah.
or Blu-ray or something. And the case was like the house from Halloween. It was the coolest thing. I don't know if it was for sale or it was just like a custom thing, but shit like that is what's going to sell stuff. Like, cause if you're a diehard fan, you guys have even Spread Eagle, like every band has at least, a certain core of hardcore fans that are going to buy anything you put out. And if you put out a bunch of cool shit, I mean, that can, help make the year so that your band can continue to tour.
Well, that's yeah, that's your army. The people wearing their shirts are the ones that spread the word about you. They're still excited to come out and be part of this whole live thing and they're part of the band. When you get the shirt, you're part of the whole thing. You're part of the whole tribe of it. You belong. Like this is my band. I've said this before. People have to take ownership of the band. It's their band. And that's why it works on that level. So, but the bands that are on our level that do meet and greets and they're not really selling much product, it's just silly. They're just playing Rockstar. Those days are done, man. The Rockstar days are done, right? The fame game is in. So we get out here and we push ourselves on social media because we need to, get people to come see the band or just be eyes on the band. This. Hey, look at me. You know what I mean? The day the rock star shit's over, man. This is like about being real, because it's honest out there, and they can tell if you're faking, and some people can't anymore. They don't care if you're faking, so you run tracks. But the audience that I connect with is over the whole rock star trip. They just want to have a good time and be in something and be involved in something really cool, you know.
Yeah. Well, and that goes back to like, Kiss, like they definitely run tracks. That is a corporate thing, but some people like that too. Some people like the fantasy. It was like, I was talking to somebody, I can't remember who it was, and they were saying how, some of this is like, they're pulling the curtain back too much on some of how the sausage is made, like
Oh yeah,
some bands have been using tracks and like people didn't know the difference and they were going to a show and they were being entertained So, I mean, I see it from both sides. Like, I know Eddie Trunk is like really like hardcore, like bands should not use tracks. They should play the real songs and yada, yada. But I mean, I just want to have a good time. I want to see a good show. But when it's obvious and when it's just like, I mean, supposedly, I don't even know if this is real, but like you've got like, they're saying like Nikki Sixx is not even playing the bass. Like he's just miming it. I mean, to me, that just seems silly. It's like he can still play the bass. I mean, I get some of the singers they can't hit the notes or whatever, so maybe they need some help with some auto tune or something like that. Or if there's a keyboard on a song and you don't have a keyboard player, then yeah, that makes
Right.
sense. If you're just going to go out there and lip sync and mime your instruments, I don't even understand the point of that.
Goes back to what we said. It's about honesty. If you're there to fool people, you're there for the wrong reason, and it's going to bite you in the ass. It really will. Uh,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, yeah, because
and
also like, how do you even enjoy that then? How do you enjoy being on stage? Because for me, it's like if you really or want to make a good career of being a musician, like you have to love music and love playing music. And like you said, if you're just going to go out there and like play Rockstar, I mean, shit, I could do that. I mean, shit, like
yeah,
get
man.
an instrument, I can fake it.
And everybody is playing Rockstar because everybody's in a tribute band now. Our generation loves their music so much they'll go and listen to someone else play the catalog as long as they're listening to the catalog and it's live.
Yeah.
It's theater. You know what I
Well, some
mean?
of those tribute bands sound better than the originals, I'll be honest.
Yeah,
And you can see them and you're like 5 feet away instead of like in the nosebleeds and paying,
yeah.
hundreds of dollars.
As long as they understand that they didn't write the material.
Sure.
You know what I mean? There is that line. But yeah, man, a lot of my friends are in really cool, great tribute bands. So I give them their respect because they're very talented. I still just, my thing in life is I'm going to play. I want to connect on my own with my own voice. That's always been my thing. And it's a big problem for me. It's caused problems and it's done great things for me.
Why is
But
it? It's caused problems.
oh man, because I think of the struggle of it. I think to get your voice heard is really a very Mount Everest kind of climb. Especially if you've left the business like I did. We had everything handed to us. Then everything got taken away, and you have to work that much harder to get back in everybody's good graces again. But I think now we're going about this the right way. I feel like we're super honest. I think it's sincere. And again, why should people go see my bands? I think it's just a good time. I think my vibe as a human being is very positive. I can be a total negative prick sometimes, but I think in general, I'm a good person, and I give that out. And I think when people connect with that, it creates a larger thing, a larger version of that. We all sort of enjoy that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
Was
absolutely.
that too, it sounds so serious, right? It was too serious.
No, that's beautiful. I love it. I mean, that's the passion and that's the reason to do it for yourself. And I mean, even if it's a small audience or whatever, like to start out with,
Yeah,
like if you're having a good time and the audience is having a good time, who cares? I mean, you're doing it, you're having a good time, and we're all and you're spreading that joy. Like that's you're doing the right thing.
that's it, man. It's funny how people can just take it for granted. A lot of bands, they're like I said, even writing. Why would you write something? I guess a lot of guys are collecting checks with labels. I've heard some tunes this past year that were just crap. Some of the stuff that I'm hearing, it's like no one's evolving. You know, it's just like, you know, Frontiers has a million bands. They all sound the same. You know what I mean? But you, I'm all about the writing, man. Is try to write the best song you can. Don't just leave it on the table because that kind of sounds. I hate when fans that sounds like something. It's 1972 from so and so. To try to change it up. Try to evolve, man. I hope I'm making sense. Just try to evolve. Right. If you're gonna write a song, put everything into it. Don't leave anything. Put everything into it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there is that going around. There's always been music that even in the 80s and 90s, it felt like there was songs that just felt like people were just going through the motions. Like I think back then, like because you'd have an album and you'd have your couple hits, and then the rest they'd call it filler, right? I mean, that was
Right.
you just get a song to fill the album so we can have a full album. And then a lot of times there's this pressure from the record company to put out the full album in a certain time period. So it's like almost like you rushed. And now it's like I think the advantage is you don't have that. People could take as long as they want because there's a lot more freedom with making a record.
You hit the word right there. It's freedom. That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? This
Yeah.
thing we do, it's about freedom. This music gives us a sense of freedom. That's what we had when we were kids when we listened to this music. and I don't mess with that. I take it really serious, So I'm in this for real. I just love to do it, man. Even though sometimes it's really painful. I don't think we're where we want to be yet. That's why Superfly is so important to me because I feel like that's just me in a box. That's as natural as I can be, and that's as close to the bone as I've ever gotten. So I really want to just make it work.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, but also, is there going to be a new Spread Eagle album? Because I think last time you were on, you said you guys were working on it and you're thinking maybe first quarter of 2024 that it would be out.
Yeah, what happened was we got so into booking the live show that it took over everything, and we didn't really take any live recording gear. Where we went. Though now we have a laptop, we have no excuse. But since we've been home, we've been writing. So I think before when I spoke to you, we had a couple songs in the can. Now we're close to having a full album. There's a lot of material there. It's just a matter of just buckling down for maybe 2 months and just nailing it. So once we finish these run of shows, um, we'll get in there and make that stuff happen too. And of course, while that's happening, I'm still writing Superfly music, so I'm going to be writing all the time. That's great.
That's awesome. Well, awesome. I
Yeah.
look forward to the Superfly on March 8th or 9th or whenever that comes out. And then maybe at some point a new Spread Eagle, maybe not first quarter, but maybe second quarter of
No,
2024.
no, maybe the second, getting all that corporate term, second quarter. And I'm
Yeah.
telling you, man, the way we're writing, whether it's because I've grown up a little bit and the style that I like, and where we went with Subway to the Stars, I think we're going to get even heavier and more aggressive, if you will, because Spread's a good band like that.
Really?
We
So
have,
give me a comparison band that you would want to sound like.
oh man, sound like, I don't know, man,
Like a
because
like a Skid Row, like going from Skid Row debut to Slave to the Grind, like that level, or even heavier
yeah,
than that.
yeah, like maybe a little. We're able to go as heavy as we want.
Okay.
When we did our debut back in the day, we played like with Pantera in LA. We did. It's like I feel like we can go anywhere. I would like to go as heavy as possible, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Whatever heavy is without being ooh, cookie, and just keep it real. I don't think Spread's going to be like Tool or anything like that, but
No. But what
um,
about like the sleazy? That's what I liked about those kinds of bands is like kind of the sleazy, bluesy, kind of swinging, like dirty vibe, rather because I felt like the Subway, at least some of the songs on Subway to the Stars it was almost like progressive.
yeah, we're trying to see, because Spread only did the debut open to the public, and then years later we're doing Subway. We're still finding our identity in writing. We can
Oh, and they
only
have a different
grow.
guitar player and a drummer too, so that
Yeah,
changes things too, right?
yeah, and Jami, because of Jami's style, we're writing. We're gonna make that happen with him too. I think Jami has the ability to be really aggressively heavy and melodic. You know, I love Tool. I love Perfect Circle. I love Deftones. I love Slipknot. I love Lamb of God. But I also love Sade and I like the funk. And I still love I love Motley Crue. I love all of it. But Spread's still exploring, which is all right. I think that's good. A true craft to writing. You're always trying to go further. So we'll see where we go, man.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you where it is because it might change day to day. So
sure.
it's
But
I
it
I
would be cool to see you guys do like a package with bands, similar bands of that era, or whatever,
sure.
like newer bands too. There's like, I mean, that's like what I like about the Faster Pussycat tour. It was like you had the Jason Charles guy and you had Of Limbos. It was a cool package. Like it was three rock bands, they're all rock, but they're different eras, different sounds, and it was cool.
Yeah, man. I love Faster Pussycat.
That'd be a cool
I'm a
package.
realist.
You guys in
Oh
Faster
my
Pussycat?
I think we've talked to me and Danny had a chat. We were in the UK in 2017. So we got to do some shows together, man. So, you know, once we're on the boat, we meet everybody. I'm going to be like, hey, listen, I'm going to be that guy.
Yeah,
Why don't we do something? I will not be not talking about that. Because I think it's a great idea. That would
yeah.
be, and for Spread, it's great. Go with Faster Pussycat, even Rat, whatever. Get on somebody's stadium tour. I don't care if we're playing in the afternoon, but I the more people, the better, man. I think we do better in front of a large. We're we're a large room band. I think I think we stretch. I think we're not calling it in. I think Spread's a little bit different, the energy than most bands you see.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, it's going to be awesome. I think you're coming to Arizona. I missed you last time, but I should be around when you come for this show. So hopefully I'll catch you for that show in February. I think it is.
I'll shoot you a text. All right. Hey,
Okay.
I'm here, man.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I'm here. That'd be
Sounds
awesome,
good.
dude.
Anything
All right,
else you want
brother.
to promote?
I'd say you did it all, man. I'm just I'm excited. It's a good year, man. It's starting up in February. I got Spread and Superfly. I'm just happy, man. I'm happy to be, both barrels, man. I got two for the price of one, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking, and when we spoke like a year and a half ago, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? You know what I mean? It's like, what did I just do? I got to go fix that. So it did really, it stays here. It did not affect me. I was like, man, what did I do? I was not ready to do something. So now
You're
I
talking
got to
about
go
the
out.
Lynch thing or whatever?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
man, it's like, I know I'm good. I know that I'm good. And for a second, I was like, well, shit, what the fuck I need to fix this. Buckle up, man. And,
You
and,
can
and
use
just,
that as a
it's
coal in
fuel.
your furnace to motivate yourself.
But it's always been like that. It's always been, well, who the fuck is Ray? I'm not some tall blonde dude. I'm the little fucking wild crazy dude. You know what I mean? It's like I wasn't supposed to happen, but I did. So I'm gonna make my voice heard, man. One way or fucking another. I'm gonna get my voice heard.
Love it. Well, I look forward to seeing what you do in 2024, and we'll talk later.
Love you, brother. You're awesome.
Okay. See you later, Ray.
Later.
Bye. Thank you for taking the time to listen to the full podcast episode. Please help support our guests by following them on social media and purchasing their products, whether it be a book, album, film, or other thing. And if you have a few extra dollars, please consider donating it to their favorite charity. If you want to support the show, you can like, share, and comment on this episode on social media and YouTube. And if you want to go the extra mile, you can give us a rating or review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. Finally, make sure you're subscribed to the show on YouTube for the video versions and other exclusive content. We appreciate your support. Have a great rest of your day and shoot for the moon.